Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to STR Unfiltered. I'm Bill Faeth, your host. I'm excited for you to be here today. If you're listening, I'm recording this on my back deck at a cabin I own in just outside of Whitefish, Montana, in a small town called Olney. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see the amazing views behind me. That is the exact reason of why I purchased this cabin about a year and a half ago. And that's what I want to talk to you today, because when I bought this property and I was doing the underwriting process, AirDNA and STR Insight said this property would do $98,000 a year. And I get it, because it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. This is not a 6-bedroom, 6-bath. It's not no guest house, none of that type of stuff. So a lot of people will look at those numbers and say, wow, there's no way. It was listed, I think, for $1,035,000. I picked it up for $950,000 furnished. Very few people are going to spend $1 million on a property that's going to do $98,000 a year in revenue. But when I saw the photo of this, and it was just one photo of that on the listing, I've been looking for 2 years, 6 months, and 7 days before we walked into this property. I knew that I would have something that I could hang my hat on from a marketing standpoint. And this episode is all about revving up your revenue and making more profit off of your short-term rentals. So one of the things that I want to share with you is why I told that story is because that's how we have to look for the holes in the listings. And really, it's the hole in the data. The data is going to be 100% accurate if you have zero marketing skills. I have marketing skills. I know how to leverage that view. I know how to leverage the proximity. You know, I'm 15 steps away from that river. It's not peaked up or perched up on a cliff with rocks and riprap to where I can't get access down to the water. So those are the things that we have to put our own eyes on a property like this if we're really going to rev up our revenue. The second part about this is really going to be the underwriting process I mentioned earlier. So I did underwrite this, so I outperformed the 90th percentile by 52%. So if it's $98,000 in the 90th percentile, that puts me at about $140,000 in revenue. So for me, $1 million investment, and once I saw the property, I knew I was going to have to make some updates, is not necessarily a very sound investment. But this was slightly emotional. For me, it was not 100% financially driven decision. So really the first thing that you have to do when you're looking to, in the purchasing process, to give yourself the right opportunity to max out your revenue is understand which bucket you're going to fall into, which buy box. So for me, this was like 50% lifestyle asset and 50% financially driven decision. I have never bought a lifestyle asset that's 100% or 75%. It always has to pay for itself. And that's also why I typically buy 2 to 3 properties in every market I go into. So that way I have some diversification of revenue. So that lifestyle side, for a lot of you, I've seen a lot, even at the most recent boot camp on my summer tour I just hosted in Nashville. Like 4 or 5 people out of the 75 that were there literally had already made a lifestyle asset purchase and they can't afford it. So don't make that lifestyle asset too soon. Make sure that you're making financially driven decisions. Determine what bucket you're going to be into. There's literally, I bought a property and now I'm just trying to pay for it. That's bucket number 1. Bucket number 2, I'm looking to buy a property that we can use, 5, 6, 7, 10 times a year. And then I need to, generate some short-term rental income to pay for it. That's the lifestyle asset in bucket number 2. Bucket number 3 is 100% financially driven decision. If you're in bucket number 3, then click down below if you're watching this on YouTube, or in the show notes if you're listening to it on the podcast, and download the Proforma plus training from myself and John the Bank Whisperer Hodge. Because if you can really learn, and we teach you how to do this, it's more than just having the right Proforma. You learn how to underwrite, and you're going to mitigate your risk, and you're going to forecast with a lot more success what you're really going to be able to generate out of a property. The second thing here, before we dive into what you can actually execute, is really the mindset. A lot of people start businesses, and that's what you're doing when you buy a short-term rental, is you're actually starting a business. And they think that they can come in and operate. And I can't tell you how many newbies come to me and they say, hey, I've only been operating for 9 months. Okay, it's May. What was your season? Oh, well, we own in Steamboat, or we own in, Newry, Maine. We just went through the ski season. Well, no shit. You just went through the prime season and you're not making money and you're getting ready to go into the summer. That's immediately where I kill that asset, sell it, access my equity, and reinvest. You're not going to be able to build that into a bigger return. if you made a bad investment up front, if you've been through the peak season, if you launched and you didn't make updates and you were waiting to get through the season, now you're going to make the updates and add amenities and turn golden girls into your golden ticket, then that's a completely different story, right? But that should all be part of your plan when you're going through the underwriting process. I'm going to do $200,000 in revenue here. I'm on pace right now as I'm going in summer season. I'm recording this on June, I don't even know what today is, June 5th, I think. June 4th, actually. I know I'm not supposed to ever timeline it. It should be evergreen, whatever, but I need to give you the point here. It wasn't that great during the winter season. I did not rent last summer. My family stayed here almost the entire summer along with friends and family. But now I'm at about 85% occupancy, and I'm actually doing about 15% higher in my ADR than what I had anticipated. Because over that time of getting prepared, when we were using it, when we were actually being the guests here, studying the market and understanding what people really want when they're coming to this property, we focused on the outside. Right to my right, I have a geodome that literally nobody has in Whitefish, Montana. There is one down the road, but it's a small, shitty Amazon one. This is a hype dome, the big 15-footer, and Bria and myself have decorated it and installed it very, very nicely. To my left is a barrel sauna, right next to the hot tub. Everybody has hot tubs, not one barrel sauna at a single family home. There's one at the lodge at Whitefish Lake where I hosted my mastermind meeting with Mike McAllowicz back in December, but they didn't work. So I've added 2 amenities that are both tied to the outside, which is the most important part. People don't come to Montana to want to sit inside of the cabin or sit inside the hotel. It's an outdoor market to accentuate their experience and take advantage of the river. I've got paddle boards, I've got kayaks, I've got cornhole. You can't see the fire pit, but there's an awesome fire pit right down on the river over my left side. Outdoor dining, Traeger grill. Everything is set up to take advantage of that view, the fly fishing and the proximity down into the river, and to be outside. You can probably hear the birds chirping around me right now. You notice I didn't say anything about listing optimization. I didn't say anything about revenue management yet. And those are 2 huge things to move the needle to rev up your revenue. But if you don't have all of this first, if I took you on a walkthrough or walked you around to the front of the cabin, you're going to see this is just like any other cabin. There's 14,000 of them in Gatlinburg. It's just, wood walls. That's all it is. The cabin, I didn't even update the flooring. I didn't update the kitchen. I completely renovated the master bathroom, renovated a smaller renovation in the second bathroom upstairs. We put up some murals, we did some paint, we updated bedding, and then we did update the family room with some our house furniture, which is nice. It is expensive, but that was kind of the lifestyle side, because the inside of the property is not what's selling. And this is not just because I'm on a river in Montana, 24 miles from the Canadian border. This same approach is what we take in every super property that we build in our portfolio. In the western North Carolina mountains in Banner Elk, at Smith Lake, Alabama, 45 minutes north of Birmingham, at the beach properties down in Gulf Shores and the Panhandle, in Scottsdale, Arizona, it's all the same. It's the same approach, because any of those markets, when you're talking vacation rental markets, people are going to play golf in Scottsdale, they're going to hike Pinnacle Peak in the beach, they want to be on the beach, or they want to be in the pool. That's a huge deal. We actually see our guests spending more time in the pools at our beach properties than they do at the beach. They want to be outside here. They want to be outside at the lake. They want to be outside in Asheville or Gatlinburg or North Carolina or Hilton Head, Steamboat, Newry, Palm Springs, Joshua Tree. Any place that you're going on vacation, you want to be outside. Even when you go to Orlando and Disney, you're either going to be in the parks or you want to be at the pool in the backyard. People do not want to spend time inside. That's why we talk about having the house equipped for rainy day options. Know what your guests want, underwrite your properties like a fucking pro, grab the pro forma now, negotiate the best deals, study what your buyers want outside and invest in the outside and work your way in. Now, don't get me wrong, we made investments inside, but I've put about $85,000 into this property, and the majority has gone into new railings, new decking, new paint, which we just did last weekend before we got back here. New expansion, Geodome, is going to be about 17 grand when I'm done. $12,000 Bullfrog hot tub. I've got a $7,500 Almost Heaven barrel sauna. Kayaks, paddle boards, redid the fire pit, all of that type of stuff, the majority went into expense on the outside as opposed to on the inside. I spend a lot of money on my yard. If you can see the grass is amazing. Nobody has nice lawn for lawn darts or playing catch or teaching kids how to fly fish or cornhole or any of that stuff in this market. It's just all natural grass and weeds and that type of stuff. And people scoff at me for investing thousands of dollars every year. I've got True Green out here keeping my yard in pristine, like golf course quality, so it renders well in photos. And people notice that. Then when they get here, they're like, oh my God, I can walk out there barefoot. If I look at my neighbor's yard, there's nothing wrong with it. It's natural. It's the Montana way, but there's no way that the people who are renting his property that they're going to be walking around his yard, period. All of those things are what I call value stacking. Now, that ties in to give you the ability to revenue manage. That ties in to provide you the ability to increase listing optimization. It ties in for you to do off-platform marketing because you're creating experiences. When I get done filming this, I've got my oldest daughter here with me. We are literally finishing out the Geodome. We're filming it. We're taking photos of it. I've already spent $1,500 on photography, but I've got my photographer coming back on Friday to do sunset shots, get the Geodome, get the barrel sauna all lit up. We're going to get drone footage. Everything that we need. I'll be in about $4,000 in photos and video because I need the best, the top of the line media, because that's the big thing that's going to separate me. That's the number one thing, folks. If you want to generate more revenue and give your opportunity to do better off-platform marketing, better listing optimization, better revenue management, invest into the absolute best photography and video that you can get for your properties. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode of STR Unfiltered.